Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo.
On this episode of the History of the Course podcast with Curtis and Josh, we finish our look at the band from Nyack, New Jersey, known as Coheed and Cambria. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurviveByPro for news and the latest episode postings. And make sure to subscribe to the show. Leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on YouTube or whatever podcast service you're using. And if you'd like to see us do some live streams, leave us a comment or tweet us the keyword stream. Now, without further ado, let's start the show.
The devil is in Atlanta. Army surrounded.
We made our beds to lie in them proud, proud of our great mistakes. This warring knife, the flash of its blade, turnabout face. I implore you, brother, don't walk away. Don't walk away from me, because this is our war.
Welcome back to the History of the Chorus podcast, sponsored by the Church of Heaven's Fence, where each and every episode we take a look at the history of a band from the core genre and we tap it up. I'm Curtis, and with me, as always, he's my co-host, Josh. Josh, buddy, how's it going?
Sirius Emery, a scientist and the series' namesake, Curtis, ventures into the so-called key work for answers to the unexplained, but unintentionally opens the doors to a war that never ends.
So
the good doctor and his wife give their lives to stop the ending of their worlds, and Coheed and Cambria sacrifice their children to achieve the same goal. As the armory wars rage on, the crowing comes at last to accept his destiny. But is there no world for tomorrow if we wait for today, Curtis? We're about to find out.
We're about to find out.
I'm about to tell you.
Stay tuned after these commercial breaks. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you excited?
I don't know if excited. I'm interested.
You're interested.
I'm very interested to hear, because I mean, we've talked about, some things here and there, but to finally be able to sit down and have somebody explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. It's great, man. I can't wait. If you're not familiar with what we're doing, we're finishing our look at the band known as Coheed and Cambria, but we're done with the music, people. We're dedicating a full episode. Anyway, we're dedicating a full episode to the concept story behind the music. VH1's Behind the Music. History of the Course
behind
style.
The comic books.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I'm excited. I'm ready to learn some more and to start kind of connecting some dots, hopefully. So,
well, the fun's just going to continue here, Curtis, because you're about to get to choose your own adventure.
huh?
So, would you like to do this thing in chronological order, like in their timeline, in their world? Or would you like to do this thing in order that the albums came out?
I feel like personally, I like things in chronological order. So
Okay.
I think we need to do it that way because this is my show. So I get to choose. It's
You're
my
choosing
world.
your own
You're living
adventure
in
right
it.
now. Okay.
It's adventure time.
Well, in that case, buddy, we are going to be starting out with Year of the Black Rainbow.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Okay.
sorry. We're going to be starting out with the Afterman Ascension.
Ah, yes. Yes.
So.
Now, I do have a question real quick, and I better put my hand down before something happens. Because I got several questions to ask you. I'm sure you'll probably explain some of them. Basic question for you, Josh. Does one have to know the story behind the music to really enjoy Coheed and Cambria?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
This is a band that I feel like even just knowing a couple little things here and there, you can appreciate the references made. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
So I don't think you have to, but it's there for people who are really into it.
Interested. Okay. Cool.
And I think I will pick up at least some of these. Um, the ones that I wouldn't be able to get like a physical copy of, I'll probably try to get like Kindle versions of. But
Right.
I do want to say before we get started too, though, that most of my information, because there's certain ones that don't really have as much source material. Some were a coffee table book and others were a series of graphic novels. So,
Every time
um,
you say that, makes me think of Seinfeld. It's a coffee table book that turns into, oh my gosh, this guy is brilliant.
A Year of the Black Rainbow coffee table book.
That turns into a coffee table. Nice.
I would
Yeah,
want
that'd be
that.
sick. That'd be sick.
Yeah, most of my information from this came from the fence on Reddit and also JJ Metalhead. She has a very in-depth series going into a lot of the Amory Wars and also into both the Vaxis albums. So she's kept up with it that long, and I
Oh
imagine that
yeah.
she'll probably do one for Vaxis 3. So
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, because I think I watched like one or two of her Coheed uh
and
videos.
she has most of the physical copies of stuff from the series. I think a couple of the later ones she wasn't able to get because they were
Out of
limited.
print, yeah.
Yeah, they were just like only, a certain amount made, but I did hear though that they are selling some of their limited stuff like that at their shows at merch tables, so might
Noise.
still be able to get some of that stuff out there, but
Yeah, if we would have gone to the concert, but
ran too close to my vacation, my friend.
Yeah, I know.
It was
Yeah, kind
destroyed.
of a bad thing.
It was a very busy month for me.
Mm.
Okay, so that's gonna put us starting at After Man Ascension. Um,
So Afterman is even before Year of the Black Rainbow,
yes.
huh? Okay.
So this
Okay.
is where it all
Did not
starts.
realize that. Okay.
I mean, I think, when you think about it, Cyrus Amory, he, I mean, his name is like we're at the start of this. He's, even you just listening to those albums, for the last episode, you know that he's a scientist who discovers the key work.
Hmm.
They live within Heaven's Fence there, and he discovers this force that is holding all their planets together. And he also discovers that that's their afterlife also. All souls go there and they either stay in the mono or they go to the utopia, which is essentially like, limbo and paradise.
Right.
So, yeah, and just without knowing anything more than that, like you picked up on that. And his name, his last name is Amory.
Hmm.
So you can kind of put together that this discovery goes on to be, a bunch of catastrophic events. If
Well,
it's
that's
going to
what
be
I kind
called the
of,
Amory Wars,
yeah,
like
that's
named
what I
after
kind of
him.
wondered. I was like, I mean, obviously he's the, like you're saying, he's the namesake. So it's like, dang, what did he do to cause some wars here?
Yeah.
So,
It's
Okay,
literally just
cool.
his discovery that,
Okay, cool. Of the key
yes.
work.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And
Nice.
I'll tell you, Curtis, because we could sit here for
No, I know.
many, many hours,
You've got 30
but
minutes.
yeah, but we're gonna broad stroke most of these albums. I'm gonna give you the basic framework. I'm not gonna sit here and describe every single insignificant battle that they go through and a ton of side characters that don't
What the
really
heck was that?
affect the plot. What?
I don't know. It looked like you just like glitched out. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know.
Me?
That was weird looking. It was
Maybe it
like,
was the Tater's not behind the curtain anymore. It might have
no,
like
I mean
moved all this.
like you were right here. You were here talking, and then all of a sudden it was like sometimes it would kind of glitch out, like slow down or whatever. This was just like you're here, and then like I blink and like you're over here, type thing. It was it was kind of weird, but you really weren't like it wasn't like really like that. It was just like the movement is like you're here, then it's like the next second is like you're like this. It's like what the.
Uh,
I may be having a medical episode live
Oh
on the episode.
no.
Anyway, carry on. Oh, well.
So we'll mainly just broad stroke these albums. So I'll give you the full picture
Right.
though of
He's gonna
the
whet your
story.
appetite, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll just say, if that sounds up your alley, like definitely get these. You can get, I think, all of them on Kindle, or Amazon, books, or
Take my money now.
wherever you
Dang
buy your
it.
digital books. Um,
The dark web.
yeah, but we'll get you the basic framework of the story here. So after Man Ascension, um, Cyrus, um, Cyrus Amory, the scientist,
Hmm. Yeah.
he makes this discovery about the key work, and he wants to go on a mission inside. His wife doesn't want him to do it, and it causes this huge, rift between them. He goes through with it anyway, and all of the soul, like he realizes that it's not just energy, but there's like all these souls that are trapped in it that basically generate this power. There are four, I believe. They call them
Yes.
entities.
Yeah.
Four entities in this album that he's exposed to. I want to say Domino.
Hmm. Yep.
Um,
Hollywood.
yeah, what was the butcher's name?
Vic.
Vic. Okay, yeah, Vic the Butcher.
And then was the last one Evagria or something like that?
Athagria.
Pythagorean. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and then Domino was the boxer,
Hmm.
Vic was the soldier, and then
Hollywood was an
Hollywood.
actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, she like murdered somebody or whatever. Yeah.
And he has not great experiences with the first three.
I was supposed to say by the time
Athagria
he
protects him from the others, but
right. I was supposed to say by the time he gets done with Vic, he's dying basically.
yeah.
I always when the line after at the end of that song comes in where when Mother's telling him, your heart rate is this and oxygen is this, da, 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 Cyrus, you are not well. And I always want to go, yeah, right. Yeah, right, bitch. You think I'm dying.
I'm dying. Yeah.
Or
It's
just
pretty
I
brutal.
picture him in the background, just like, I don't think you're well, Cyrus.
I mean, the artwork displays it quite well.
I'm
Just
shattered to
being
pieces.
ripped apart.
Right.
Yeah, and it's I can't remember which ones, but a couple of them like fight inside of him, and each of them like
Yes.
possesses his body as he experiences their life.
Right. Just taking
Um,
it out of him,
so
basically.
yeah, that's pretty rough. That's pretty hard on him. He doesn't think that he's ever gonna make it out of there. I mean, picture that, dude. If you walk into a space like that that you can't see an exit for. It's just like, well, yeah, how would I ever possibly get out of here?
Exactly. Yeah.
His wife thinks that he's dead. They're basically reporting that he is dead on the outside.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's happened. And in the outside world, it's over 500 days have passed, like since he's been in
Whoa.
there. To him, it only feels like a week. And yeah, like a year and a half or so. That's that's pretty brutal.
Wow. Mm.
That's when he discovers that there's two levels to the key work, like we talked about. And then yeah, the album leaves off there. And so it's gonna be different to talk about it this way because everything from Afterman on was made like different than they did it before. So
Right.
this way, there's like a specific song that correlates to this part in the comic, and then, you know, 10 pages later, track number two, that's where it picks up. Then 10 pages later, that's where track three picks up. So it was written in order like that. Whereas a lot of the older albums are written out of order for the story. So the
Yeah.
story is A, B, C, and the tracks on the album go, A, C, F. So it's,
Okay.
a little bit different. But where the album and the story leave off for this one, um, Cyrus doesn't know if he's going to be able to get out. He's basically waiting to die. He's been cocooned inside of Athagria, and she's protecting him from the other
Right.
spirits while they try to tear him apart. Do you remember exactly how the album ends? Does it end with like anything from All Mother?
I don't think so.
Wanted to double check here real
Yeah, I
quick.
can't remember off the top of my head. So I'm trying to
Because
remember
it's
how it's
it's the track,
subtraction.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember how that one goes. Can't even remember how that one goes. Um, ugh.
No,
No?
I mean it was mostly acoustic, it sounds like. And then no, there's nothing from All Mother at the end.
Yeah. Which then again, I guess you can just go straight into Predalethal,
Yeah.
which comes in with more acoustics.
Um, well, and the two happen like right back to back. Like as quick
Right,
as
yeah.
Ascension ends, Descension starts, story wise. So Cyrus is still cocooned in Athagria. Um, and then that's when that fight between is it Vic and the guy he was gonna turn in? I don't remember. There's two of
Yeah,
the
I don't remember.
entities that are like fighting inside of him. So he already thinks he's gonna die, and then this starts happening. So he's just getting more and more messed up. Um, but Athagria is finally able to get him out of there. Um, and yeah, when he finally escapes the keywork, he realizes that he's been gone 500 and something days. Um, he is kind of conflicted about what to do with his findings. He's a scientist. I he's like been kind of looked down on, and he's made this huge discovery, but he's seen the power that's in there, and he's afraid that it can be harnessed for evil.
Right.
Which It does. Like
Speak.
he has the right
Okay,
idea about that.
so speaking of that, real quick, of good and evil, is this is there a fine line in this universe story, whatever you want to call it, of these people are good and these people are evil, or are we kind of looking at a kind of House of the Dragon type situation where it's like, there's really no like these are the good guys and these are the bad guys, type thing.
Right. Um, the line is blurred because I feel like a
Okay.
lot of your good guys are also like criminals and
Right.
um
Well, hell, even in Vaxis, the parents are bounty hunters, you
yeah.
know. So don't know
So
too many good bounty hunters out there,
I
except
don't
for Dog.
know. Aside from the prize, like I would say they are, you know, good.
Hmm.
But yeah, aside from them, not really. I
Okay.
mean, there's people who like try to do what they think is the right thing. I would say there's good people, but I don't know if there's necessarily a good side and a bad
Right.
side.
Okay.
Maybe at least through the Armory Wars, maybe because like Jesse and his rebellion against um the
Heaven's
Red
Fence
Army.
or the Red Army. Okay.
Yeah, because that's more, I guess that's a pretty clear cut. Like, these are the good guys and those are the bad guys.
Okay.
But a lot of your main characters, I feel like, are one foot in, one foot out.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
um, yeah, he talks to somebody he knows about it, another scientist, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, don't tell anybody about that. Like, you can't tell anybody about that because some horrible things are gonna happen." There's this whole side storyline with his wife Mary where he's been gone for this whole time. Everybody thinks he's dead. His family thought he was dead, and she's kind of rescued by this police officer, and they end up having a relationship. And
Hmm.
so when he comes back, she's like, "Yeah, like we were already getting so far apart, and then we thought you were dead." And so, yeah, she's basically letting him know that she's moving on with her life. They have this conversation and are in a car wreck right after. And they're both injured, but she's killed. And she also is like pregnant with
Hmm.
the police officer. I think it's like Officer Graves, um, with his kid also. So that
Okay.
causes this big conflict between Cyrus and Officer Graves. Um, and after everything that happens, Cyrus is basically just like, okay, well, I want to, like, he feels a lot of regret about everything that happened before he went in. Um, just a lot of the stuff that happened between them. So he decides the thing that he can do for her is to go into the keywork, find her soul, and lead it
Guide her out.
to the utopia because he's afraid she won't be able to find her way there. Like a lot of the souls that he met, were never able to find their way there.
Okay.
So, um, yeah, that is his mission at the end of Dissension, because um he's like getting prepped up to go in at the end of that album. So
And is that really it of Cyrus, sorry. I always want to say Sirius of Cyrus.
so we get him back at the end of Vaxis 2, which is
Really?
pretty
Okay.
cool. Like from the very beginning of the story to what we have so far.
Okay. So did you
Yeah.
find out that he probably is the astronaut in the picture?
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay. I told you, Josh, if this was true, if we could start connecting more things, I'd be back into it. So I'm officially back in.
Okay. Yeah. That was
Because
a
that
big
was,
selling point for me too.
yeah, because that was kind of weird. Like when we were doing Afterman, and I kind of figured out, okay, it's about Cyrus, Amory. But then yeah, it just kind of like stops. And you're kind of like, well, what happened to him, man? I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
what the heck?
Where'd he go though?
Where'd he go? Okay,
It's kind of
sweet.
how, I mean, it's how us and a lot of people feel about No World for Tomorrow. Like you could draw your own conclusions from it, but you just sit here being like, yeah, but
What
what
happened?
happened though? Like you feel like, this spot right here
Right,
is where No World like starts. Like
right. The
this is
beginning
it,
of, yeah.
and then you don't get anything like material wise. It's just like, oh,
Just
well,
like, and then that was it.
figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Figure it out. I got to write Year of the Black Rainbow now. Well, wait
Yeah.
a minute.
I did see a lot of stuff, like several different interviews that said once they had their rewrite, their 2017 rewrite of Good Apollo Volume 1 completed.
Rewrite?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
because
The
they're
source material or the actual album?
no, the source material.
Oh, I didn't know they did that.
Because the original one was released in 2005 or 2006, something like that. And it only had like source material for the first few tracks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't have like
Gotcha.
everything there. So,
Gotcha. Okay. But anyway, what were you gonna
um,
say with that?
with what?
I thought there was something else connected to that, the interview.
Oh, that after they got done doing that one, like redoing it with the full story, which came out in 2017,
Hmm.
that they were gonna look towards finishing No World for Tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
So we'll see. It has been 7 years since then. So
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, at some point, I imagine it will get done. But he's telling another story too, and I think you get into a Winds of Winter, like Dream of Spring type scenario where you're like, how do
How the hell am I gonna finish this
I had so many, threads going here. Like, how do I tie them all together? So,
without it just looking cheap and clunky and yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's the hard part. Well, what about Year of the Black Rainbow, Josh? We're putting Cyrus on hold until Vaxis, which is later on. So what's going on with Year of the Black Rainbow?
Year of the Black Rainbow, Curtis, was originally the prequel to the Amory
Yes,
Wars
yes,
until I guess it's still the prequel. Afterman is just the prequel's prequel.
right. It's the prequel to the sequel.
It's the preface.
There you go.
Yeah, so Year of the Black Rainbow, a lot of the time spans in between, you know, albums, but stories you're told. So like it's 10 years between this, it's been 20 years, between this. With Year of the Black Rainbow and Afterman, we don't know how much time.
Okay, well, and that was going to be one of my questions too. Is there any point in some of these things like that where, okay, Afterman's happening right here, but at the same time, part of Year of the Black Rainbow's happening, or maybe all of it's happening at the same time, or yeah, is there just like this happened and now there's some time and then this happened then? So there's no real overlaps.
No.
Okay.
In Year of the Black Rainbow, there's yeah, between that and Afterman, we don't know.
That's kind of, I'll be honest with you, it's a little disappointing because to me, when you do stuff like that, it adds depth to your story. It adds depth to your universe.
Whoa, with the
But
years?
it's cool. Well, just the whole deal where it's like I was saying, it's like if you had the Afterman stuff right here going on, but then at the same time, maybe like part of the beginning of Year of the Black Rainbow kind of overlaps with, time wise of like Afterman. And that's just kind of an example of what I'm trying to say, but I'm not saying it has to be that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
It just kind
gotcha.
of gives it depth to me instead of, well, here's Afterman, and then 10 years later, then Year of the Black Rainbow happened, and then 5 years later, and second stage Turbine Blade started, or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, the story, I think for their story, it would have had to have been told differently because the first, like, in between Year of the Black Rainbow and second stage, um, 20 years pass.
right,
So there's things that have to happen during that amount of time. So it's like they almost need to do that time jump because they can't, these main characters, we can't tell the story of Claudio, who's the crowing before he's born,
right,
and
yeah,
we already told the story of a lot of the interesting things that happened before he was born in Year of the Black Rainbow. So
right.
I feel like for the story that they created, they're
It has to be this
necessary.
way.
And
Okay,
because they do it for almost every album, it's interesting and makes you really wonder a lot more how much time passed between Sirius going in and Year of the Black Rainbow happening, from the
right,
point that the keywork is discovered for what it is and to the point where someone uses the keywork to take absolute control.
right, yeah.
Um, yeah, so
And who spilled the beans?
I would like to know. Well, I mean, I think eventually, he wouldn't be the only one to ever.
True.
I mean, they're scientists.
Or
Scientists be
scientist.
sciencing. Um, Year of the Black Rainbow.
Year of the Black Rainbow. Is it really a rainbow if it's all black? These are the questions and much more that will be answered in this section of the History of the Chorus podcast, episode number 76. Coheed and Cambria, part 4. Sponsored by the Church of Heaven's Fence.
You almost messed that up.
Oh, I know.
I could feel it.
Most.
Second stage. Oh, nope.
Our answer, our question has been answered. Nothing.
Skip it right past it. Okay. Year of the Black Rainbow. This is kind of the origin story for the big bad in the Amory Wars, and that is Wilhelm
Yeah.
Ryan, who
Okay.
is a mage.
I thought you were about
Um,
to say a maid, but okay.
he's a maid.
He's in a French outfit.
He's a butler. He's
He's a
Coheed and Cambria's butler.
butler. I like it.
What do you know about Wilhelm Ryan, Curtis?
Uh, just that he's kind of described as a bad guy in Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth. To be honest with you, dude, I was about to say in Keeping Secrets of Seventh Church of Seventh Track or whatever. Yeah, in Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth. That's really all I know about him.
In Keeping Secrets of Seventh Track Church.
Yeah, exactly. Shh, don't tell anybody. Most of the tracks are the sixth track, but don't tell anybody. We make an exception.
Well, you're right. He's definitely a bad guy. He wants to take over all of Heaven's Fence, and he wants to be the only mage. There's several mages out there, and he wants absolute control.
Okay.
He also wants to bring on the apocalypse too. He's really into that. I don't know why, because I feel like he would just die too. So
Well,
I don't know.
he
Yeah,
didn't really think it
he's
all the way
really
out,
into the
okay?
apocalypse though.
We're all gonna die
Um,
now. I didn't think it out. What do you want from me?
the day he does finally take over, A black rainbow appears in the sky.
Oh, he does take over. Okay. Okay.
And so that is why the album's called Year of the Black Rainbow.
So is it a sign or what? Why is it a black rainbow? Why did it appear?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a sign of
Okay.
like,
Well, I was
yeah.
about to say rainbows are usually a sign. They were in, in religion or whatever. It's meant to be a sign, so
And he does have like aspects of that. Um, there is supposed to be like a god in the story. There's supposed to be
yeah, crazy
like
man.
angels, like archangels.
Oh, okay.
Um, so that's what the prize are essentially.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, so the protagonists in this are Dr. Leonard, and his wife Pearl. And
Pearl
then
of the
they have a
Stars.
son named Joseph who's killed in it's like I think it was like a protest rally basically against Wilhelm Ryan. And
Hmm.
then there's like fighting breaks out and he gets killed. Um, so their son dies, um, kind of because of Ryan taking over. And this is when the prize decide they're going to get involved. So this is the first time that the prize are introduced in the story in like the order of things, in like the canon. You start hearing about them. I think the first album is Good Apollo, at least that I remember. But they decide that they're going to get involved. They are a race of it's all women, and it's like an Amazonian angel kind of thing.
Okay.
Um, they're supposed to watch over um I don't necessarily want to say humanity because there's like a lot of what goes into humanity. There's like different alien species and
Right.
um but they watch over everybody in Heaven's Fence, and there's this prophecy that is a real tightrope because the prize's job is they're supposed to keep things from being done that aren't God's will, and they're supposed to allow things to happen that are God's will. And if they don't, like if they make the wrong call, then they're like punished. So yeah, it's a weird kind of tightrope there.
Okay.
Um, and a part of this is the prophecy, which says that like somebody's going to come to power, take power over the keywork, and there's one called the Crowing who will be the only one who could possibly stand up against him. So, um, with that knowledge, there's two prize who the whole of the prize vote that they're not going to get involved in the situation with Wilhelm Ryan. And there's two Paranoia and Ambelina who decide that they are going to like keep an eye on this and do what they can to help out.
Okay.
So, Dr. Leonard is given the knowledge by Paranoia, and it says knowledge and ambition um, by the prize to create three weapons to defeat Wilhelm Ryan. And those weapons become the IRO bots. Um, and the first three are Jesse, otherwise Inferno, Coheed the Beast, and Cambria the Knowledge. So they each have specific powers. Jesse's, I want to say, was mostly just speed and strength, and then Coheed's was speed, strength. He has like knives that can come out of one of his arms, and then the other one turns into like a cannon.
Nice.
And then Cambria can control people with her mind. Um, and so this guy who the two big bads are Wilhelm Ryan and Mayo Deftonwolf, and Deftonwolf is basically just his right hand man. And I think Deftonwolf is also an IRO bot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. Okay, yeah, he is. Um, and so he captures Dr. Leonard's wife and demands that Leonard make a virus for them that's going to bring on the apocalypse.
Right.
And so instead of just, making this virus for him and handing it over, he puts it inside Coheed and Cambria and, yeah, delivers them to him, but they can only be awoken with like a certain word. And I thought to myself, like
What's
during
the
this whole
word?
part,
Shibuti?
Shibuti. You gotta say it like that. Shibuti.
Shibuti.
Um, I was thinking during this part of the story, I was like, man, I don't know if like while he has your wife and is like torturing her and stuff, if this is the time to be like, okay, I did it, but now you gotta do the work yourself to figure it out. It's like, what? No, just give him the
No,
give him
you
the poison.
idiot.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, man.
because that's the other thing too. It's like if he has Jesse, Coheed, and Cambria, it's like they could just bust up in there and have a pretty good shot at taking them down. Why is he
Why are
going
you
with
just handing
this?
them over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then also like unknown to anybody else, Dr. Leonard has created another IRO bot named Josephine. And he's put inside her an antivirus. So kind of a backup here in case, Wilhelm Ryan's actually able to extract the virus, then there is a chance at having an antivirus.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, while all this is going on, Pearl is brainwashed to kill Leonard,
Oh,
and she's kind of able to pull herself out of it. And instead of killing Leonard, she kills herself to keep from doing it. And because of that, Leonard kind of loses it and he wants revenge. So, yep. He wants revenge. So, he goes in on his own and, of course, gets taken out by
right.
old Mayo.
Mm, mayo.
Uh, but
Mayonnaise.
he leaves behind a message for Jesse with info about the virus and antivirus situation.
Yeah.
Um, And then Jesse goes to rescue Coheed and Cambria before the virus can be extracted. And okay, so this is one of the big ones, the Battle at House Atlantic. So Coheed and Cambria fight Ryan and Defton Wolf, as Jesse takes on the Red Army solo. The Prize show up at the last minute and destroy Ryan's forces. And at the end of the battle, with just how everything's left, House Atlantic's in ruins. The Red Army's defeated. No sign of Ryan, and he's believed to be dead. Jesse, after that, erases Coheed and Cambria's memories in an attempt to try and give them a normal life after everything is over. I mean, they think Ryan's defeated. They think this has been put to bed.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, in an attempt to give them a normal life, he erases their memory and just kind of plants them down with Josephine as their daughter. And just stays, nearby, keeps an eye on them. And that is where Year of the Black Rainbow ends. We're gonna live happily ever after, Curtis.
With the evil laughter in the background. Maybe that's what it is. They thought he's dead, but he's really not. There's your answer to what that was.
You talk for a minute. I need to drink.
This episode was sponsored by the Church of Heaven's Fits. Not to be confused with the Church of the Seventh Track. No, those losers had been ousted because they would not pay their bill. So now we have a new sponsor who actually pays their bill. But who knows? Maybe next week they won't pay their bill. And we'll have a new sponsor, maybe an old sponsor. Who knows? Alrighty. And back to the episode.
Oh. Okay. That's going to take us on to second
Vaxis. No, I was
stage
kidding.
turbine blade.
Oh, we're not even close.
Oh yeah, not even close, Curtis. We got second stage turbine blade. And we got Secrets of Silent Earth 3. We got Good Apollo I Am Burning Star 4, Vaxis Volume 1, and Vaxis Volume 2.
Wow, buddy. According to my timer, you only have 5 minutes left.
Oh, I only have 5 minutes? Oh my god.
Speed run.
No, okay, so second stage, Silent Earth and Good Apollo. There's a little bit to talk about. No World for Tomorrow, obviously. I just wanted to get, a couple of opinions from you, what you think is going on there. And then
Oh, I have no clue.
Unheavenly Creatures and Vaxis, those are pretty condensed storylines. So, yeah, this won't take us a whole lot longer. Don't abandon
hang
ship
on.
yet.
We're getting to the good part. It's coming.
The dragons are coming.
They're coming. Just a little further down the road. Please, sir. How much longer? Just a little further down the road.
Just a little further up ahead. Okay.
Second stage turbine blade.
Years. Curtis. Ooh. 20 years.
No. Let me set the stage for you, Josh.
Yeah?
20 years into the future. Past the year of the Black Rainbow. Second stage turbine blade.
Second stage turbine blade presents
Coheed and Cambria.
Happy holidays, Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah, talk to me about second stage turbine, Josh.
20 years after Year of the Black Rainbow. Coheed and Cambria now have 4 children, Josephine, Claudio, and the twins Matthew and Maria. They don't know anything about their previous life. Josephine would have been, just born, just created.
Born.
If this is, 20 years later, because she's just supposed to be 20 years old.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, they don't have any knowledge of their previous life, but they do have, I know at least Cambria, but I think Coheed as well. They have these snippets of memories that they can't explain.
Dreams, right?
Yeah. That they can't figure out what these are. And that's what's going to fuel them to do some of the things that they're going to do coming up. But Mayo Destin Wolf, who of course is completely unknown to Coheed because he doesn't have any memories of him, approaches Coheed on his way home from work one day and tells him that his children will destroy all the worlds of Heaven's Fence with a virus that is inside them that is mutated to a point where it's going to cause the end of the world.
Oh, shoot. Bless you.
And that paired together with these memories that they have, when they talk it out, they come to the conclusion
Start connecting.
that old Defton Wolf's got to be right. So all of the kids, except for Claudio, were killed by Coheed and Cambria. Some pretty brutal ways. The twins, they're cut with the poison dagger, and Josephine, her head smashed in with a hammer.
Ooh.
Defton Wolf then captures Coheed and Cambria, and they realize that all of this was a lie, that he's just been I think that's when a lot of this starts coming back, when they start
Yeah,
realizing
is there ever
everything that
really a point?
happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Claudio, who's out with his girlfriend Nuo, comes home and finds a house full of dead people.
Beautiful. So you want to come home to after a long
Pretty,
day?
pretty brutal. And then he's attacked by what's called an Ostentine priest, which is essentially a defeated mage. So all these other mages that Wilhelm Ryan had to um, take down, he turned them into these things called Ostentine priests. And then this is the point where Claudio realizes that he has powers also. At this point, it's just invisibility and transparency. Um, they're able to get out of there. They are able to escape. And Jesse and Maria, so Jesse's girlfriend's name is Maria. She's a big part of the revolution. They're fighting the war against Wilhelm Ryan. Um, and when Jesse figures out what happened, he leaves to go save Coheed and Cambria. Claudio leaves a note for a Nuo on Shiloh's 10 and learns that the souls of, or Claudio leaves a note for Nuo. Um, and on Shiloh's 10, he learns that the souls of all these unwanted um, workers and different alien species are being fed to the keywork, essentially. They're harvesting their souls on Shiloh's 10. And that's just so Wilhelm Ryan can attain more power.
Gotcha.
Um, so this is when the prophecy really starts to get some acceptance. So watching everything that's been happening, the prize make this choice, and Ambelina decides she's going to become Claudio's personal guardian to protect it. Like once they see that they think he is the crowing, that the signs are there, then she's going to become his guardian. So to do that, she has to burn her wings, which we have lyrics about that. Um, and then Ambelina also saves Nuo from an attack, I believe, also by an Ostentine priest. Um, Mayo Deftonwolf kills Maria, which is pretty rough for Jesse. And these like apocalypse dragonflies that um, Wilhelm Ryan has made get out and they bite Coheed and Cambria and it transforms them. Coheed gets turned into this like giant monster. It kind of makes me think of like the Saiyans in Dragon Ball.
Okay.
It's kind of like that.
Interesting. The monkey? The monkey form?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of.
Gotcha.
It looked like a mix between like that and like a Titan from Attack on Titan.
Okay. Oof.
Um and yeah, they both transform. She has like, if I remember right from the pages I saw, it's like she's covered in armor and stuff and has a sword. Kohi destroys one of the stars um that are kind of, helping to bind the keywork and the planets together. Um and when that happens, 9 planets break off from the rest of Heaven's Fence because of that. And those are the planets where Vaxis takes place. So
Oh, okay. Nice. Remember that?
after Kohi destroys that star, both he and Cambria die. Her purpose that she was kind of given, um, at, like, his purpose that he was given from the virus was to destroy one of the stars. Hers was to kill him when it was done.
Right.
So, um, so they're both dead. Then the prize have to come in, sacrifice themselves to save the keywork and keep the planets together, the remaining planets together. There were a total of, let me go down here. There were a total of 78 planets in the keywork. So there's only 69 left together. Ew.
I know.
Um,
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not. The lines are all there. Um, where were we?
69 planets remain.
Oh yeah. So the prize have to sacrifice themselves to keep all this bound together. Um, so most of them are destroyed. There's only a few of them left, and they can't like reproduce. There's we see them like duplicated later on, but they can't reproduce, so it's kind of just like what's there is there, you know.
Right.
6 years pass before the end of the album as Jesse attempts to rebuild the rebellion and Claudio continues to develop his new powers. Um, that note is left for Nuo, the one that I mentioned earlier. And that says that he's going away, basically. Uh, and he gets off planet. I can't remember if that's Paris, Earth, where they were. Um, but he gets off planet and kind of goes into hiding. That brings us around to In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3, which takes place 10 years after Second Stage Turbine Blade. And the planet Claudio ends up on is called Gotterdam, where he's just kind of barely getting by. Um, Jesse
With the three.
can
With the three, though. Don't miss that
Jesse
part.
continues to build up the rebellion and harbor what prize are left. He creates two new IR robots, Sizer and Chase, and they're kind of like his children, essentially. In the way that Josephine would, and
Right.
the others were Coheed and Cambria's children. Um, Sizer's power is like it's kind of a Hulk type thing. He can turn into like a big monster and a bunch of destruction. And then Chase, she's supposed to be like fully grown, but she's in like a little girl's body, and she has the power over I don't know if I put it down. It's just kind of like manipulating reality.
Ah, okay.
So she can like create things, and she's really, really powerful. Um, So Wilhelm Ryan has been spreading this propaganda um, over the last 10 years that he was the one who saved the keywork. Just kind of building his name there. That it wasn't the prize, it was him. Coheed and Cambria are called terrorists. Um, I have lost my train of thought.
Coheed and Cambria were called terrorists.
Oh yeah, they're called terrorists. So just a lot of propaganda being spread around about what actually happened. Um, in the Battle of Silent Earth 3, Chase is able to kind of rebirth the prize and duplicate the ones that are left. So she makes kind of a whole army out of the prize there. Yeah.
Man, those
Um,
jackhammers.
Wilhelm Ryan's captured in the battle.
I'm sorry. Side note, real quick. I told Eric today when we were recording the After Hours one, why we brought up that line of "Man, your own jackhammer," and I told him, I said, when I first heard that song and that line, of course, I had no idea what was going on story-wise. And I really thought it was just like, come on, construction workers, man your own jackhammers. Um, okay. It's a weird line, but all
Just a
right.
bunch of guys like chop, chop, chop,
Yeah,
chop, chop,
that's
chop.
immediately what I thought of, man. Chop, 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 chop. No, chop, 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 chop. Yeah.
You gotta say it. You're not saying chop when you chop.
No, that's what I did. I said chop,
No,
chop.
I
Oh,
was
you're
saying it
telling me. I
like
was like, I'm
as
doing
one of the
it.
guys. Hey, you're not doing. You gotta say chop when you
Hey.
chop.
Everybody stop. We got a bum over here that won't say it while he's doing it.
Um. Okay, so in the Battle of Silent Earth 3, Ryan's captured. Mayo also managed to capture Sizer and he tortures him for information on Ryan's location. Ryan is held prisoner by the rebellion and sentenced to death. At the last minute, his consciousness is pulled from his body,
Whoa!
and put into another body. Convenient.
Oh, how convenient.
Uh,
Coincidence? I think not.
so he essentially gets away there. Claudio also, a while later, finds the pieces of Sizer's body in a trash can and
Well,
pulls him
where
out
else are you going to
and
put him
repairs
at?
him. Yeah, he's throw him out with the trash. He's a robot. They
What
just
the hell are you supposed to
toss
do?
him out.
Is there a recycling program in this universe? I mean, what? What do you
There's
am I supposed
a
Is
whole
there a Best Buy?
cemetery full of robots.
Oh, I was like, is there a Best Buy that I'm supposed to take it to recycle or
Cycle.
what, bro?
So Claudio puts him back together and he's back on the team.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
when Ambelina finally reveals herself to Claudio. She's just kind of been watching him this whole time, keeping an eye on him, protecting him. She tells him that he's the one called the Crowing and the only person who can stop Wilhelm Ryan. Um, Claudio's powers, he can't really control them at this point, and in an explosion of energy, he kills a friend that he was trying to save.
Oops.
When he combines his power with the key work energy that they were harvesting on Silos 10. And they use that to make their escape. Um, you know about the Valorium camper?
I do not.
No, it's not great. Um,
Okay.
so Ambelina and Claudio, they're trying to get to House Atlantic. It's been rebuilt. I didn't mention that. It has been
Nice. I was supposed to say,
rebuilt and
how can
all
how
brought
can it
back up.
fall if there's a favorite House Atlantic?
Yeah, they're bringing it back up.
Yeah, we're bringing it back.
Um, okay, so yeah, we're talking about the camper Valorium.
Camper Valorium. Yep.
Um, they get a ride with this guy named Al, and on his ship, and Ambelina stumbles into a hangar on his ship called the Camper Valorium, and it's where he all these from what I gather, it looked like all women um that he had captured and tortured and cut apart and stuff. So when Ambelina finds it, Al knocks her out and throws her in there. When Claudio figures it out, then he and Al have this huge fight that causes the ship to go down into House Atlantic. Um, yeah, so that happens, and then also that's happening like as Jesse and his army are attacking House Atlantic.
Nice.
So yeah, they're attacking, and then the ship crashes into one of the towers, and then next thing you know, there's Claudio's blowing shit up, and
Total chaos. Gotta love it.
the prize show up, but they are consumed by House Atlantic, and it's kind of I got the feeling that you're not really supposed to know if they're destroyed by it or if they are just like captured. And I think that they've probably just been captured because of the thing that happens in Vaxis. But so they're all gone. Like just gone like that. Claudio's able to deflect Ryan's powers, which kind of confirms that he is the crowing, that his powers are able to hold up to his. And then everybody's able to escape. Everybody's able to hightail it out of there.
Get the hell out.
And then this is the point in the story that it's revealed at the end of not the album necessarily, because this is one where a lot of the songs are kind of out of order. But at the end of the story, it's revealed that Claudio has been narrating this block of the story. Like the years during Silent Earth 3, he's been narrating that story in this album. And he's been narrating it to Nuo's dog, Apollo.
Okay.
And we're starting to see that he's he's starting to get a little mentally unstable here, which is a good lead in to where, 4 goes, because it's like, well, yeah, if he's already getting messed up, it makes sense to like, oh, this is another part of the reason that he's messed up. I like the way JJ Metalhead put it, that he sees his father as a ghost a lot, and he has these kind of haunting images of his parents.
Okay.
And so he's just carrying a lot around now. Yeah, and that would push us into Good Apollo I'm Burning Star 4, Volume 1, Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. Where it makes sense that he's starting to become a little unstable because,
the man who created him is unstable.
the Ryder and Erica Court storyline, because Ryder, who is the writer of the story, he identifies so much with Claudio and essentially wishes he was him. Yeah, he's written a character that he wishes he was. And when everything in his life falls apart, he's jealous of the perfect life that he created for.
Right. Now, here's something for you, Josh. When we get to this album, I started wondering to myself, how much does Claudio put himself into these stories, do you think? You know what I mean?
I think a lot. I mean, a lot of the interviews that I saw with him, like, getting prepared for this, yeah, he was definitely writing. He said he always had a problem writing lyrics, like, honestly, just about his life or whatever. So he just created these characters to kind of tell his stories. Like, originally, I felt like I was Claudio, but then later on, I felt like I identified more as Coheed, and just like through different parts of his life,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has inserted himself into a lot of this story.
Okay.
So Good Apollo and Burning Star 4, Volume 1, Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. In in Heaven's Fence World, House Atlantic has been rebuilt once again. And Wilhelm Ryan is seeking complete control. Outside in the real world, Ryder and his girlfriend Erica Court, they are about to break up, and Ryder's been off his medication. And that coupled with this situation, he's just kind of starting to lose it. His bike gets stolen, and when he goes looking for it, that's when the lines between the worlds start to become a little blurred. He goes to Erica Court's house and he sees it as Nuo's house.
Oh boy.
So he's slipping between the worlds there. He wants to kill Erica, and 10 Speed eventually starts talking to him and tells him that he doesn't have to do that. He just has to kill Ambelina in the story because the lines between their worlds are so crossed. It'll basically be the same thing to him. So he sees himself as Claudio. Why not have Claudio kill off Ambelina? And that would be the same thing. The bike trying to talk some sense into the man. Story as old
Uh,
as time, Curtis.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
Yeah.
I had one the other day try to talk to me, so
Did you listen?
I didn't. I was a little busy, so I was like,
Okay.
not today, bro.
Okay.
No, thank you. I don't want to hear about your bike god, so sorry.
Um, so back in Heaven's Fence, Claudio goes to his childhood home, and that's after Jesse reveals to him kind of the whole backstory, like who they are, what all of this is. Um, and so there's a little, it's kind of weird. So later on in the story of this album, a scene happens, and it seems like it's happening in the time frame like here, like the way we've been going, A, B, C, D. It should be D in this story, but it's revealed that it was actually B, like when this thing happened. So,
Hmm.
um,
Okay.
it's the scene we were just talking about at the end of Silent Earth 3, where Claudio's talking to Apollo. That scene is actually happening in this album.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like kind of taken out of frame, but it's actually happening in this album. And so when Claudio goes home, after he leaves his house, he goes by Nuo's house. And that's when he's talking to Apollo and telling him everything that happened since he's been gone, which was everything from Silent Earth 3.
Okay.
Um, Ryder captures Erica Court in the real world and is being told what to write by 10 Speed, so how to finish the story. On Epity Prime, Claudio and Ambelina fight Ryan but are losing, and Chase summons the Willing Well, which is a portal between the worlds. Ryder uses that as his chance to come through and takes Ambelina from them, pulls her back into the real world, merging her with Erica Court.
Ah.
Claudio follows him through and they fight. Ryder blames Ambelina for Claudio's course divergence and is jealous of him. So that's why he wants to kill off Ambelina. Claudio and Chase take them back to Heaven's Fence, but during the fight, Ambelina is killed by an Ostentine priest. Ryder says Claudio will do what he wants and must accept his fate. The writer thinks he's about to get out of here, but before he goes back through the Willing Well, he's surrounded by soldiers of the Red Army and gets shot. And he's a little confused because how could he get shot in this world? But that's when he realizes that he's been shot by the police in the real world
Oh, oops.
because he killed Eric Court. So, yeah,
He's like
dead.
dead. Let me just dab up before I die here.
The very end of this one in the Heaven's Fence world, um,
Oh. His lines are blurring now. He doesn't know if he's on a podcast or
okay,
he's in his own little
so
world.
He has a fight with Mayo. I think I forgot to that in there, but in this one he has a fight with Mayo where he gets killed. And at the last second, Jesse had switched his consciousness into Mayo's body. They're both IRO bots. So he had transferred his consciousness into Mayo and is now in Mayo's body. So Jesse's still alive in Mayo right now. But the very last scene in this one is Mayo entering the Grail Arbor, which is Jesse, Coheed and Cambria's ship. And that's when it's revealed that Jesse's put his consciousness into Mayo. So
Gotcha.
kind of a cool little reveal on that one. Why don't you give me a few thoughts on No World for Tomorrow while I refresh my water? What you think that might look like based on what we've gotten so far and some of the things that we know happen at the beginning of Unheavenly Creatures.
Okay. I mean, again, it's like you're the one that has the
In essay
background
form,
story and
please.
everything, but I don't, and
Just
how many
based on what we
words?
know so far, just yeah, give me some No World for Tomorrow theories. When that came out, what would you expect to see?
I mean, I would expect to see a big war to to end it all, because I mean, it's like or we talked about at the beginning of, or at the end, was it the end of the first Good Apollo, where, of course, they talk about at the very beginning of No World for Tomorrow, when in the reaping of, um, you know, it's kind of a change of plans. You're gonna do this now, Claudio, and so that's where he's kind of talking in the reaping of, like, we're gonna go do this, and yeah, I'm in a bad spot here. Like I said, you're the one that knows more about this stuff, dude, and it's been several weeks anyway since we even talked about, I mean, like, these episodes or these albums. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would assume with No World that it's like,
I'm here to help, don't worry.
thank God, thank God I was drowning, and I was using a life preserver too, and I'm still drowning. Now, I would assume that it's gonna kind of come to a chaotic end, right?
Right. My
Yes.
favorite line from Westworld, Curtis. These violent delights have violent ends.
You got a point. Got a point there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I gave, my opinions on it when we did that episode over No World for Tomorrow. Um, yeah, I mean, I just expect that this is the Claudio burning campaign. He's the crowing, he's
Burn it down.
gonna
Burn
gonna
it all
smash this.
down.
But I feel like we don't get like a super straight answer, um, at least so far on what happened to the world of Heaven's Fence, like those 69 planets. Um,
I know.
they might have been completely brought down and all that was left was the nine. So I don't think we fully know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my thoughts were
TBA.
that, it it ends with the complete destruction. Like
Yeah.
the
I mean, we know
uh,
it's the end of the story. So
right.
it would make sense if I would almost think that maybe it all just burns, like you were saying, with all the 69 planets just destroyed, basically. And now you
Right.
just have the nine left that are a part of the Vaxis story.
Yeah.
So,
That was my kind of thought, or at least those places are like just kind of left in ruin. But oh, actually, no, they've got to be at least semi-habitable because they're using the nine as prisons. I forgot about that.
mhm.
So if they're using them as prisons, they're not also inhabiting those places. So
Okay. All I
um
hear is Zayo's 5 Year Winter. Burn it down and walk away. Burn it down and walk away. Write it down and walk away.
Write it down and
Write
walk
it
away.
down and walk away.
Write it down, walk away.
That stupid electric drum. Dadgummit, Jesse. You were a good drummer, but you ruined it.
Okay. So that's the end of the Amory Wars. Next part of this is what I think will just be called, going forward, probably just Vaxis or the Vaxis cycle, something like that.
Vaxis Saga.
We've got Vaxis 1, the Unheavenly Creatures, and Vaxis 2, A Window of the Waking Mind. A window of the waking mind. I'll probably just kind of summarize these two together and let you know when we, pass into the next one.
Yeah.
Unheavenly Creatures is after the Amory Wars. The five houses of star supremacy, they take the 9 planets that were split off and turn them into prison planets. Our main characters in this are Nia, who's Sister Spider, Nostrand, who's Creature, and Otto, who's Colossus. I thought the Grail Arbor was a really cool ship name. Their ship is called the Gavel.
Cool. Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
Cool.
And then you're gonna think this is really awesome. One of the name of one of the prison planets is called the Dark Sentencer.
Oh yes,
I think we talked about that a little bit in our last episode, but
yep,
really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
A flashback at the end of beginning of the story tells you kind of what happened there. Otto and Nostrand are already prisoners of the five houses of star supremacy, and Nia, she's not with them. She's believed to be dead. The flashback shows you the three of them were part of a group called the Unheavenly Creatures, bounty hunters, mercenaries, guns for hire.
What have you?
Yeah, just kind of whatever. I think this was a robbery that they were attempting. And Otto shoots Nia and leaves her for dead. Just kind of a betrayal there. I think they said it was just kind of a jealousy thing, like because there's something between Nia and Nos, and I think that's probably why I just get her out of the picture.
Right.
So once they're dropped down on this prison planet, Otto and Nos, Nos goes to seek out these people called Windows, which I think will be, probably pretty big going forward through the rest of this. Windows can speak to the dead. They have some other abilities. And so Nos is gonna go find one of these windows so he can talk to Nia. But instead, one of these windows tells him that his future son would actually like to speak with him. So kind of reaching through.
Come again?
I'm assuming the key work kind of works with time
Probably
also,
so,
like that it has the potential for that. And so yeah, he's just super confused by all of that. It's revealed that Nia's been living on this planet in a position called Queen of the Dark. I don't know what that is. I think she's ruling over a lot of the. I'm not really sure what's going on. Yeah, if she's supposed to be like a lower level warden or something, but essentially the planet is dying though, and Nia and Nos have seen each other when Nos is like sentenced to whatever position he's going to be in, but neither of them, like, they don't know what to do, so neither of them says anything. I mean, in her head, she thinks that he left her for dead, and in his head, he's like, I don't know what she thinks about this. So, When they figure out that the planet's dying, Nia goes to Nos and they flee. Big old fight between Nos and Otto. Um, and then they get off planet, off of Nia and Nos do.
Dark Sensor.
Yeah, they get off Dark Sensor. Um, I love how like towards the end they're just like, all right, we have to fight our way off, and they like break out their old school and heavenly creature masks. Like I love they both like just still had them. I think Nostrand says like call your mother or something on it. I can't remember what it says.
Okay.
And then hers has like a spider on the side of it, I think. And that's where Unheavenly Creatures cuts out. So it's basically just introducing the windows, introducing you to our two like main characters here who I think, Coheed and Cambria were the main characters. Also,
Right.
I think eventually Vaxis is probably going to be our main character here.
Yes. Yeah. Kind of Coheed or Claudio
Yeah.
type.
Yeah, just introducing the windows and where this is going to be going. Then Vaxis 2 is just a few years after, I think it's supposed to be like maybe 6 or 7 years, something like that, after Heavenly Creatures. And Nia and Nos are basically just searching for a way to help their son. Their son has been born in a coma, and he has kind of just remained in that this entire time. Um, in his head, which I think is in the keywork, like that he's just in the keywork during this whole
Kind
coma.
of floating.
He's extremely powerful. And
Ooh.
so that makes me wonder kind of how things are going to be for him going down the road, if he'll have any powers outside of the keywork or just attached to it. So they're looking for a way to help their kid. The leaders of the Star Supremacy have been experimenting with these things called quintillion speakers, which have like a keywork energy and like a connection with that. In association with Windows, when the two are combined together, there's an excessive amount of power and keywork energy. So the leaders of the Star Supremacy, they're trying to use that to prolong their lives. Because they're these beings that at this point are just kind of barely held together, and they're inside these like spacesuit things that keep them alive. Nia and Nos are losing hope to help their son. They introduce another couple of a character with another character attached to him, the Traffinder brothers in this. They're on the album cover, the guy with the other guy attached to his chest.
I guess I didn't notice that. Hmm.
And they're just some old associates of Nia and
Eh,
Nos's.
never even noticed that. It's interesting. Huh.
And then in an attempt to get their hands on a quintillion speaker and a window, because I think that combination could help Vaxis. Nos and Nia renew their membership in kind of a thieves mercenary guild called the Liars Club. Um, and their first run that they're supposed to do is for this cargo that nobody else wants to take, and nobody knows really what's in it. Turns out to be a prize. So there's like the link, between the Amory Wars and this. There's still at least one prize out there.
What the heck is a prize? Because when you say prize, I'm thinking like I won something.
No, Ambelina and Paranoia, their prize.
Oh, that's
That's like what their
prize,
species is
prize.
called.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
okay, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking something totally different.
you're good.
I thought you were saying prize like a prize, and I'm like, I'm so confused. Did they
Yeah.
get a bunch of like tickets at Chuck E. Cheese or something? What happened?
No. So there's at least one of them left. I
Prize,
told you
gotcha.
it kind of leaves it like, are they all
Right,
gone? Like we don't really know.
gotcha.
So there's at least one left. And Nos and Nia are betrayed by the leader of the Liars Guild. So they're doing this run, and then when they get back to their ship, they realize that they've kind of been stabbed in the back. So this fight takes place, and they realize there's a prize because Nos opens up the crate, hoping that there's like a weapon or something in there that will help. Um, and then yeah, it ends up being a prize. Um, kind of from the quintillion speaker being there and just a lot of things that's happening, a connection is made, and Vaxis kind of connects with the quintillion speaker. And that's when it's revealed that he's a window. And so that's when he wakes up. Um, and he's only awake for a few minutes before he can hear something coming from the quintillion speaker. And he reaches into it and starts pulling out Cyrus Amory. And he comes through, and the last line that's given is all mother were finally free.
Oh shoot.
And so yeah,
I was
however
waiting. I was
long.
waiting for that to drop.
Yeah, for him, that was probably felt like a year, and it's been like hundreds of years. So yeah, so now Cyrus Amory's introduced back into the story. The prize are back in the story, and we'll see what'll happen with. I don't really know exactly where Vaxis 3 will go because there's not a Wilhelm Ryan. There's not a big
Yet.
bad. There's just
Yeah.
the leaders of the Star Supremacy who, other than these prison planets, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything like that. Like that's not good, but it doesn't seem like they're like Wilhelm Ryan trying to kill everybody that's left.
Right, but it's like I told you, I said, I feel like his parents are gonna get killed and then it's gonna be like a revenge type thing, you
Yeah,
know.
the
So that's how
history
I feel like
repeats
it's gonna
itself.
go. Yeah, exactly. So
Could be.
okay, so we've gotten through it all, at least
We're
up to
through it.
where, you know, they're at now. Obviously, there's supposed to be three more of Vaxis, right? Supposed to be
Yes,
five
they
total.
said 5. Yep.
So do we know, like, because after all of that, and maybe I just missed it because there was a lot of information all there at once. But why the Amory Wars? Why is it named that? What did Cyrus do? You know what I'm trying to say?
I mean, I don't think we know. There's so much, we
Okay.
don't know how much time passed between Afterman and Year of the Black Rainbow. It could
Okay.
have been 20 years, it could have been 200 years. Like we don't know how much time passed. So anything could have happened. Like the next person to discover the key work, like what it is, like what the potential is there. And I think it's just kind of a commentary on the series as a whole, like the fight around what this guy
Discovered.
discovered. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Cool. Cool, cool, man. That was a lot of information.
It's a lot. It's a
If
lot.
you asked me
And
right
that's
now
just the
to repeat
broad
it all back
strokes,
to you,
man.
I would not be able to
Yeah,
do it.
that's just the tippy top of all of this.
Oh my gosh.
That's what
My
I
brain
felt like
hurts.
was important,
Uh, yeah.
to make all of
Okay.
this make sense.
Okay. Cool, man. Cool, cool. Well, if anything, like we said at the beginning of the episode, hopefully that piqued your interest, whet your appetite a little bit, and we'll send you down a rabbit hole to discover more on your own. What is some of the best places online to get more information? If besides, obviously, either purchasing the comics or the books, whatever, or Kindle or whatever. Besides that, where is a good hub for information? Quick hitters.
The fence for sure.
Okay. Okay.
You can
And
find most of
that's
what you're looking for on there, and most people have like They'll have
And
a
what
link
is-
about something.
Right, but what is the fence though? Where do I find that? How do I look that up?
The fence on Reddit, my good man.
There you go. Okay. Well, I mean, if I didn't know what the hell you were
Subreddit the
talking about,
fence.
there you
Yeah,
go. There you go. On Reddit, the fence. Okay, cool. Awesome, man. Well, any final thoughts before we close the book on one of your favorite bands?
I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's just funny to see like how whenever I very first started listening to this band, what I thought the story was about, and being here and realizing like, yeah, some of those things were true,
Right,
but a
yeah.
lot of it like was not true. So
Right.
just your interpretation without the source material. So
Yep. Yeah. Well, alrighty, Josh. Let's make our way on out of here. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at @IsSurviveByPro for news and the latest episode postings, not just on the show, but our other shows as well. We have the History of the Chorus After Hours podcast, where I sit down with my good friend and avid listener of this very podcast, Eric, and we talk about some of the bands me and Josh have already discussed. There will be a brand new episode this week. It's going to be all about Coheed and Cambria. So be on the lookout for that one. We also have the Red Right Hand podcast, which has covered all 6 seasons of the BBC/Netflix hit show, The Peaky Blinders, and eventually we'll get that movie. I sent you a little deal, Josh, but apparently there's several different little clips of filming, shots of them filming the actual movie. So that's exciting, man. It's interesting. So we'll see what
coming.
happens. Yeah, it's coming. Just wait. Speaking of dragons, we have the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which has covered season 1 and season 2 of HBO's House of the Dragon. And this coming summer, we'll be covering season 1 of HBO's A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But hey, we do have a brand new episode coming up this next week about the old Baratheon Lord himself, Horus, the OG of Baratheons. So make sure to look out for that episode, plus many others in the time being until next summer. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua Lynn Gary. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on whatever podcast service you're using. And if you want to listen to us and see our smiling faces, head on over to our YouTube page. Just search Is Survive By Productions. They'll have every episode from all of our shows. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up the video. Well, that was fun, Josh. 4 parts. But in the next episode, Josh, we're going with a 2-parter. We're going to talk about the band known as Abigail Williams. But until then, we'll see you.